Welcome to month 5 of Skill Power. This month, we're going to talk about the hidden link food addiction recovery and chronic illness. Let's get going. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This month in our curriculum, we're diving into a topic that touches nearly every household chronic illness. And the surprising reality that many of these conditions, which our culture calls incurable, can actually improve or even go into remission. If you've been told this is for life, or you'll need to manage this with medication forever, I want you to know that's not the whole story. Science is showing us a different path. And in many cases, people are living proof that recovery is possible. In our time together today, we'll talk about how the medical system is set up and what it does well and where it's limited. The difference between managing symptoms and removing root causes. What the science says about reversing or reducing chronic illness. How to navigate the healthcare system as an empowered patient. How to stay healthy in a culture where sickness has become the norm. And then at the end, we'll open up for Q&A so you can get your specific questions answered. Let's start by looking at the system most of us interact with when we're sick. I want to be clear. Health professionals have good hearts, and they care about us. Most of them entered the profession to help people, and they work incredibly hard. But they're operating in a system with constraints. Appointments are short. Insurance companies dictate what's covered. And the model itself is designed for treating emergencies and acute illness, not always for reversing long-term conditions. Here's another true statement. Most health professionals are trained in pharmaceuticals and surgery. That's what their education emphasizes. In fact, most US medical schools provide less than 20 hours of nutrition training over 4 years. And yes, medical schools are partially funded by the pharmaceutical industry. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's a reality that shapes what gets taught. And not all health professionals know how to help patients improve their diet in a meaningful, sustainable way. This doesn't mean the system is bad. It means we need to understand what it's designed to do. The medical model is brilliant for acute injuries, infections, and emergencies. But when it comes to chronic illness, it's often about symptom management. The recovery model, on the other hand, focuses on identifying and removing root causes, then rebuilding the body's resilience. So if the traditional medical model isn't always built for recovery, what is possible? Here's a hopeful truth. Many chronic illnesses can go into remission. We have strong research showing reversal in conditions like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, fatty liver disease, often through lifestyle changes like unprocessed food eating, consistent stress management, and restorative movement. The research increasingly shows that processed foods are strongly associated with chronic illnesses. Highly processed products tend to trigger inflammation, spike blood sugar, and disrupt hormonal balance, which sets the stage for disease. Now, here's one thing that surprises many people. It's possible to significantly improve your health without losing weight. Blood sugar stability, inflammation reduction, and improved energy can all happen without a single pound coming off the scale. That's important because focusing only on weight can distract us from the deeper markers of health. These pathways to remission are built on skills that we can learn. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods most of the time, practicing daily stress regulation, things like breath work, visualization, meditation, supporting sleep quality, movement, and emotional health. The recovery model isn't a quick fix. It's about creating conditions where the body can do what it's designed to do, repair itself. Even with a recovery mindset, most of us will still interact with the healthcare system for tests, for monitoring, and sometimes for treatment. That's why knowing how to navigate it is so important. Here are some skills that can make the difference. First, preparing for appointments. Keep a simple symptom log. Bring lab results. Write your questions down ahead of time. Number two, asking for what you need. You might say, I'd like to explore non-medication options alongside what we're doing. What do you recommend? This opens the door for a collaborative conversation. Evaluating practitioners. Look for providers who listen, who educate, and who respect your health goals. Number four, seeking second opinions. You're allowed to, especially if you're not comfortable with the first recommendation. Number five, maintaining dignity and agency. You can advocate for yourself without being combative. Curiosity-based questions can help. Like, can you help me understand why this is the best option for me right now? And remember, not all health professionals are familiar with recovery-focused tools like breath work or visualization. Sometimes you'll be the one introducing these ideas into the conversation. Let's talk about what happens when you've made progress in your health. Maybe your symptoms are improving, your labs are better, your energy is returning, and you realize that the culture around you hasn't changed. Our society normalizes sickness. Most people you meet will have a diagnosis related to diet, and you'll see it accepted as just part of aging or bad luck. And if you're working on recovering from processed food addiction, you'll see those products everywhere in workplaces, social gatherings, even healthcare settings. This is where we have to remember living healthy in a sick culture is not just about having a list of good foods and bad foods and then just doing it. If it were that simple, we wouldn't have an epidemic of diet-related disease. Why isn't it that simple? Because processed food formulations are designed to be addictive. They've been engineered to light up the reward pathways in the brain in ways that make it difficult, sometimes impossible, to just say no without additional support and skills. So yes, changing your diet is part of healthy living, but it's not the whole picture. It's about developing a set of skills that help you maintain that health in a culture that constantly pulls you in the opposite direction. Let's go through these skills in more detail. Skill number one, being in a new body shape. When your health improves, your body often changes, and that can feel both exciting and unsettling. You might get more attention, different kinds of comments, or even resentment from people around you. Some people find they miss the comfort or invisibility that came with their old body shape. Others feel pressure to keep up appearances, which can create anxiety. The skill here is about building a new self-image, one that isn't dependent on your body shape at all, but on how you care for yourself. It's about learning to respond to comments with neutrality and about wearing your health with quiet confidence rather than feeling like you have to justify or explain it. Skill number 2, being healthy in a sick culture. This is the skill of holding your own path, even when it feels like you're walking upstream. In a sick culture, normal might mean skipping sleep, eating on the run, numbing stress with food or alcohol, and brushing off chronic symptoms as just getting older. The skill here is twofold. Number 1, resisting normalization of sickness. Being able to notice when the environment is pulling you toward unhealthy norms. And number 2, finding or creating healthier environments, surrounding yourself with people, spaces, and activities that reinforce your goals. That might mean spending more time with supportive communities, choosing social activities that aren't centered on processed foods, and learning how to exit situations gracefully when you feel your control slipping. Skill number 3, managing weight safely. In our culture, weight loss is often pursued at any cost. Crash diets, punishing exercise, restrictive plans. But in recovery, safety comes first. If you've been in a cycle of weight loss and regain, your nervous system has probably learned to associate weight change with stress and deprivation. Managing weight safely means focusing on metabolic health markers, energy, and mood rather than just the scale. Making gradual, sustainable changes that your body can adapt to without panic, and avoiding extremes that might trigger cravings, binging, or burnout. It's a shift from how fast can I lose to how steadily can I maintain health without creating chaos in my brain and body. And skill number 4, counteracting social pressure. This one is huge because you'll face pressure from family, friends, coworkers, and even strangers to just have one, to loosen up or not be so strict. And if you're dealing with processed food addiction, that pressure isn't just a casual invitation. It's an activation of your craving pathways. Counteracting social pressure means having ready responses. Like, this doesn't work for me, or I'm on a different plan right now. Changing the subject quickly to keep the focus off food. Remembering that saying no to others is saying yes to your health. It also means recognizing that some people will be uncomfortable with your changes, and their discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. If you only focus on diet without these skills, you'll be vulnerable to relapse. Because processed food addiction isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you live in relation to a culture that makes staying healthy the harder choice. The good news, these skills are learnable. And the more you practice them, the more automatic they become. So you're not fighting for health every day, you're simply living it. I want to leave you with this. Your body is built for repair. Even in a culture where illness feels normal, even in a healthcare system that's geared toward management instead of recovery, you can take steps towards healing. You can work with your providers as a partner. You can build the skills to protect your health in the long term. I'd love to hear your questions about how this applies to your situation. whether it's navigating the medical system, starting recovery skills, or maintaining progress in a sick culture. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.